Today we're going to start working on some sidewalks and probably flipping those small little shops around the other way to kind of get a better view on what they look like with that. And the sidewalks I'm going to reuse for Brickworld Chicago, so I got to get those done here shortly. So let's go ahead and jump into that project. Harley's making sure I got this shot set up right. What do you think, bud? Did I do good? Huh? Is that shot set up right? Okay. Okay, so I did this in a full video before, so I'm not going to go too much over this. I do cut base plates. I don't cut rare, vintage, or hard to get base plates. I only cut ones that are currently on the market. If you want a full video about doing this, you can check out my other video, which I will try to tag right now in the comments, but or in the video. But I do cut them, and you know, it's fine. It really is fine. It just makes life so much easier when you have the right size base plate and you're not trying to attach things to other base plates, even in the mills where everything's kind of based on a grid. It's nice to have that support underneath that is the correct size, rather than trying to attach this to something else, and then when you want to change it, you have to move it, and that just gets so annoying. And so this is just a great way, and I actually use these 8 wide sidewalks in a lot of places. I use them over in the entertainment district as well. So, you know, it's not like I won't use them somewhere else. I really like the size. I think it's a nice size that's enough to get some details on there, get some people in there, but it's not taking up too much of the area around the buildings that it's unwieldy or unnecessary, you know? So I'm going to finish getting these cut, and then we'll start getting some sidewalks on them. Okay, so normally I don't care too much about what I use for the edges. Usually I just slap whatever color I got on here. But since I'm going to use this for display at Brickworld, I am going to actually line this whole side with a solid, ooh, that's a fake. I'll try not to let even fakes happen in this as well. So just normal mills, nothing too crazy here. I am going to use a bunch of parts from some of the road plates and stuff that I've been taking apart, because I'm actually still taking apart road plates from layout like 3 layouts ago. So I am going to do that as well. But yeah. So I'm going to just pull this apart. And actually a lot of this I'm just going to almost kind of reuse. Kind of, sort of. Whoops. That needs to be a... I'll go back and fix where I need to add my connection points like this. Like I know one needs to be there. And I know the ends, oops, I know the ends need one as well. But I'll go back and fix where I need, because, you know, it varies based on what's over here actually, what's actually needed. And then the nice thing about reusing things like this is that half of the work is actually done for you already. So I'm going to do this. Oops, I need to grab some plate real quick. And again, I have to make sure I use gray, because you're going to see this edge. So this edge being all gray is part of the deal, you know. So I'm going to line this whole thing real quick. Come on, there we go. I guess it doesn't really matter what the back side is, but I tend to just use gray for all the sidewalks. Just, I don't know, it just makes life easier, and it's pretty easily obtained. And then that way, if I ever do have an edge that shows. It's not a huge deal or anything like that. So and there's no rhyme or reason to the to where the jumpers are, and in fact, I'm probably gonna leave. Well, I don't know. I need to decide how I'm gonna handle that, because obviously some of this is gonna be used at Brickworld, and I'm gonna be putting a bunch of figs kind of on the outside to be kind of like displayed and like they're walking around the gardens. So we'll see how that actually works out. But so you can see so far, that's all gray. And then I need to add, I'm going to add this on this side. You'll see, and there's no rhyme or reason to the lengths on these or anything like that. This is all just standard mill stuff for the most part, except for the fact that it's on a smaller plate. But then I'll fill the rest of this. I'll fill on that side. But more importantly, this side is all gray. So this is the side that'll be facing out to the audience, if you will. And so I'll get a couple more of these done, and then we will take a look at what they look like with probably the city layout rather than the gardens, because the gardens is currently sitting in my living room, because that's where it fit for right now. So let me get a couple more of these built, and then we'll take a look at them in place. Okay, so I got two of the 48 by 8 long done. And what I did a couple things here, and some of this is because I'm using this at Brickworld and I just want it to be a little more secure. So I'm trying to do this with one hand and not flip everything. I actually bridged the gap with my tile. I don't normally do that, but I just wanted to make it a little bit stronger, a little bit more stable. And I also used all 3 pinholes on this. Let's see if I can get this back together one-handed. Just to make it a little bit stronger and a little more stable. Not that it really matters, and I expect things a bit like this is just a lot better than if it was just the Technic pins. Now, one thing to know, and this is not a problem with my gardens, because my gardens is also 2 48 by 48s. So my gardens is not a problem. But here in the city, I have Technic pins at each of the normal mills plate standard placement for these, which would be what's that, like 3-4 studs in from each of the end of the mills plates. And if I were to use all of the studs, you will notice that only one of the pins lines up with the standard Technic, or the standard mills plates on the buildings. And that's because these are 1.5 base plates, okay? So 1.5 base plates, and these are 1. And so therefore they don't, the math doesn't math out, right? Now, the funny thing is, in this current situation, if I started right here, which is 1 base plate in, all of them do in fact line up with mills plate holes. And that's because half hole, half hole. So it lines up perfectly. And even if I would flip any of these, the lines would line, it would like still work out, because the pairing is 1.5 and 1.5, which lines up with this as well. So really, if I was going to do this permanently, which I'm really designing these for Brickworld, so I'm not going to make this change right now. But if I was trying to use this more modularly, I would probably do like every other one with the Technic pins, because then that would set me up to hit any of the combinations, right? So if I put Technic pin, where's the break? Right here is where the mills plate splits. Yeah, right there's where the mills plate splits. So if I put you know, one there, one there, one there, and then one there, that would basically account for any of the combinations of buildings that I would have and hit all of the holes. See, even in this configuration, I'm only hitting one on this mills plate, one on this mills plate, one on this mills plate, one on this mills plate. I'm not hitting all of the options on the buildings, which is okay. But if you're trying to really lock everything in, you want to hit all of the holes. And in fact, what I would probably do is I would swap these out and I would only pin these singular holes, but in these other holes, I would use the blue Technic pin to axle and just let it like be a guide and keep it from moving side to side. And so then that way it just kind of, it's still locked in, but not like locked in. It's much easier to pull out. So anyways, so that's that. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do on the end because I didn't do anything special on the end here. This is just, actually, I don't even always use these, but I use these because of the, wanted to do the triple pin in the middle. So I was using these for this. But I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to cap the end, again, for Brickworld. In reality, I would probably do something different. And when I go to do these, I will probably frame out this whole corner with gray brick. But let me show you what I'm going to do for Brickworld real quick. Okay, ignore the mess that's going on here. But, okay, so I came over to the gardens to just show you because I figured that was more effective. So here is one of the long strips. Here's another one. And then I made this little border. And this is using those bricks that have the Technic pin like molded into them. And so it's brick on this side, molded Technic pin on that side. And then I did a plate and a tile. And I'm just gonna snap that all in. And that will lock everything together. It's all flush because this is the same height as the mills plate. Now I will say, technically, there is a little gap. Ignore all the dust. There is a little gap there because I don't have a base plate on there, but I don't think that really matters in the grand scheme of all of it. But that locks everything in, and I think that looks really good and really clean. So that's what I'm going to do for that. And here, let me see if I can get this out one-handed. The pins are pretty tight. Okay, maybe not. Nope. Okay, well, you can see. So yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. Oh, there we go. Now it's coming out. So there, now you can see is that brick. So anyways, so that's what I'm gonna do for this, and I will do a bunch more of these 8x sidewalks for the rest of the new city. Like I said, I'm gonna borrow them to do this, but these will eventually end up in the city because this has its own place in the city with its own sidewalk around it, so I don't need to worry about that. Make sure you like and subscribe and stay tuned for some more updates as we get closer to Brickworld and as I work through this city redo. See y'all later.